Dude,
he hasn't lost a game.
He literally has not lost a singles game at BCX whatsoever.
It's not quite the repeat of last year where LDZ got first place in every single tournament leading up to it, but it might as well be. LDZ is looking so incredibly strong. Having not lost a game, that, I mean, basically no one can say that they have gone this far and not lost a game at BCX.
Now, he is blessed a little bit by the fact that he did win the US West regional qualifier, so there is that portion of it.
Didn't
but
have
still,
to go through waterfall.
I told y'all all the names of the people that he beat. Not losing to them, that's absurd. That's absolutely absurd. That shows why those 3 letters are screamed by so many people with regards to this game.
LDZ, previous champion. He is 3 games away from becoming the champion once again, going to be the 2-time champion of BCX. Can Addymestic put a stop to that? Can he even put a
guys,
chip in the armor of LDZ?
You know how
it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I believe in Addymestic, but it's going to be tough. We are seeing the Lucian pick. We are seeing the Val pick coming. Nothing surprising here. And it's interesting because LDZ is playing standard base stance Lucian. A lot of Lucian players will put into
that strength stance.
Into the strength stance because dude, three strength is hard to kill with, but LDZ manages to do it.
He makes that 3 strength Lucian work so incredibly well. He does have the Kataras, likely will be wanting to swap on over to those blasters as he has had so much success with those blasters this weekend, but still able to avoid the damage from Addymestic, not taking too much from the gauntlets from Addy. There's the blasters pickup.
Relatively slow start to the match. LDZ's taken a little bit more damage than Addy so far, but he was late to get a weapon first. Nice neutral light coming out of those guns. The pivot neutral air doesn't actually hit.
Very patient on his return back to the wall. Goes for the ground pound. Addy very far and away from that wall. Not going to be caught by that ground pound, but the spot dodge into the turnaround downlight stare from LDZ.
Addy still maintaining that damage lead just a little bit. Nice side light coming out from him, forcing LDZ onto the edge. Nice side air. Not committing too much.
Enough?
No
yes,
dodge.
It is.
Off of cooldown for LDZ. Addymestic is going to take an early lead.
Really good positioning from Addymestic to avoid that nair. Had LDZ gotten that nair, immediate chase dodge up, and he would have gotten that wall touch.
Seen him take on the side again. The ground pound. LDZ's able to use that very safe unarmed recovery to get back. Doesn't have a lot of range, but comes out very quickly and is hard to punish.
But again, he has LDZ off stage. Ground pound coming out, goes for a second one, but LDZ is around it.
He's got to be so careful because of those weapon tosses. Goes for the dare just barely. Addy gets missed by it as he dips off the wall. The side signature is going to kill even with that low force, but Addy's maintaining this orange area lead. He's fresh on his stock and has LDZ in the orange.
He just needs to keep this lead going. There's the weapon spawn. LDZ trying to deny him from the pickup, but instead Addy gets around, picks up that sword, but LDZ's underneath with a downlight into the recoveries and the nair at the end of it. Side air from LDZ. Addymestic again with these turnaround sword stairs into the weapon toss. Can't quite get the ground pound. The nair from LDZ helping him out. Oh!
Yes!
Unarmed downlight into a pickup gauntlet recovery.
Yes! Addymestic!
Addymestic! Addymestic doing absolute work, trying to maintain this orange health lead over LDZ.
Continuing his strings, the side air's coming out from LDZ, the ground pound, the AoE of that peaks right over the edge, ends up spiking Addymestic below. That the lead is shrinking just a little bit. You see LDZ in yellow now where he was orange before.
But Addy trying to get around again, those gravity cancel downlights.
Big damage,
the
big
recovery
damage.
at the top. LDZ not able to get that gravity cancel neutral sig attempt. Instead was going for a chase dodge nair. Damage has been evened up though between the two. Good avoidance from Addymestic. Ground pound connects. LDZ's disarm. Dare. Dare.
He touched. He got his jumps back.
Addy able to deny the weapon pickup. He's got the sword in hand, but LDZ is very confident in his play, not worried about being unarmed. There's the downlight into the side air.
LDZ floating quite a bit. He's looking to pick up Addy. There's the dare. We're not going to see him chase too hard. He's worried. They're both in kill percent at this point. In fact, both players might struggle to kill at this point because of the low force that both of them have.
Addymestic slightly more force on his moves, but LDZ not overly concerned. He's got a big signature kit that side stick.
Oh! LDZ, I guess, was looking for a read there. You see him shaking his head. He knew that side signature was a mistake. That was a very hard read going on to Addymestic. Great punish, though, coming from Addy, utilizing that side signature for the distance that it covers, throwing it out very quickly. Great reaction time from Addy, and that was the first game. LDZ has lost in ones this entire weekend, and it's to Addymestic, and it's game 1 of Grand Finals.
That's a great start for Addymestic, but he needs to maintain that momentum. We saw LDZ really starting to mitigate that momentum in game 1. Addymestic, he's got to figure something out so that he can maintain it going into game 2 and game 3. He wants to play for that reset. Oh, the recoveries from LDZ. Down light into a pivot nair.
The nair's actually coming out from Addymestic this time. More nairs. The cheesy D-light into the side air, placed so well.
Oh, he goes for the side sig, trying to push it into the wall so he can go back up, but LDZ's already ready for it and punishes with the side air. So much damage is already on Addymestic.
With the weapon toss. He's disarmed for a second, but he has the Katars. That means we could see some signatures coming out.
The neutral. Addymestic able to pick up a sword. He's doing a decent job adding damage back up onto LDZ and not getting taken down. LDZ getting a little bit desperate with those signatures. There's the down signature. He's already thrown out 2 neutral signatures. Likely won't be throwing out a side signature considering Addy punished so hard in game 1 with it. But there, he does it. As I say, he's not going to do it. Recovery's coming out,
I heard
though.
the shakiness in your voice as it happened because you were so nervous about it.
LDZ does manage to get the first stock off of Addy, though.
Side light here. The auditorium has fallen into a complete silence right now. There's
everybody's nervous on either side. Some claps for Addymestic as he manages to even up the stocks. Decent damage coming out, but LDZ, again, so confident in his unarmed play. Weapon denial from Addy, ends up picking up the nair, but he doesn't pick up the weapon.
Okay, he ends up getting the weapon. I really wish he would have gone immediately for that weapon.
Try to steal it out.
Yeah, there was another spawn on the field, so it wasn't the worst thing in the world by any means. And of course, I'm not really going to tell Addymestic how to play. Like, he's definitely proven himself so far. So I'm going to give him a break and not bust his balls today.
Good movement from Addymestic, punishing that signature with that side sig. LDZ going very high in the sky, but not enough damage for those recoveries to be a finisher just yet. Gonna deny the weapon again, over to the sword. Has LDZ off the stage. Gonna be looking for that recovery, almost like he was gonna try to save LDZ in a 2s game.
Ooh, back-to-back side airs into the neutral light, into the nair. The weapon toss saving him from getting picked up by the recovery. The damage has virtually been evened up. LDZ still might struggle to kill just a little bit if he doesn't pick up a recovery or a signature, but he does pick up the recovery. It's not going to quite kill. It's too low on the right side. Addy finds the unarmed recovery, still maintaining the slight lead that he has.
But he's got to widen this gap. He's got the gauntlets in hand. Going to be starting off with a nair into a dare. Can't quite keep that continued, but he's still keeping the weapons out of LDZ's hands. The downlight recovery, not enough.
That's that 3 strength that Lucian has. He is tough to kill with. That's one of the reasons that his Qatar signatures are probably so darn good, is because he struggles to kill outside of signatures.
Weapon denial from LDZ. Addymestic waiting for the spawn, just trying to kick LDZ away. There's the sword pickup. Trying to get underneath. Nice downlight Sair. More Sairs coming out from Addymestic. Ground pounds onto the platform. Not sure if it was trying to take a page out of Boomy's book with that bait. Downlight Sair again.
We're going to see a dash jump ground pound.
No, LDZ's got that soft platform, so he does end up getting back up. Neutral light will disarm. Still no ground pounds from Addymestic. LDZ burned it all. He didn't touch.
LDZ making a critical mistake. A critical mistake hurt him in game 1.
Oh, headsets off.
A critical mistake hurt him in game 2. Could this be the cracking under the pressure of LDZ?
He nods, he waves, Boomy's gonna be coming up. Gonna talk to his former teammate, gonna be talking to his friend. Yo, what do I do against Addymestic?
I mean, Boomy doesn't know.
Boomy almost had Addy though. Boomy had a lot of glimpses of it.
Yeah, but I mean, Boomy got 3
Boomy's
out
like,
against.
yo, don't do what I did.
Remember everything I did? Do the opposite.
Don't do that.
Serious heart-to-heart talk going on right now.
Boomy's like, yo, Addy's really good. I probably should follow him on Twitter, man.
Mini coming up.
Addy, you keep doing you.
Mini
Good
dipping.
stuff. I ain't gonna tell you what to do. I feel like I'm gonna mess you up.
That's 2 games in a row, man. If Addy came in and 3-0'd LDZ for the bracket reset, that would be very scary. But we have seen things like this
Yes.
specifically against LDZ in the past, where he loses the first set and then comes back and completely destroys the second set once you flip that switch. That being said, I don't think this could be one of those cases because LDZ looks shook right now.
He does look legitimately shook. One of the few times ever that LDZ has looked shaken in any degree.
It used to be notorious that Starlight would face LDZ in the grand finals. Starlight would win the bracket reset, and then LDZ would completely demolish the second set. I don't think
It would also be a close first set, though.
Yeah, I don't think this is the same LDZ that we saw against Starlight in
nice
online
turnaround.
tournaments back in the day. Taking a breather seems like to help a little bit, but look how much damage is on Addy right now. Next to nothing.
It was a Sair and a weapon toss from the Qatars. Really not a lot of damage. We're seeing them swap on over to the Blasters for that damage build, but Addymestic already has so much on top of LDZ. Trying to get underneath him, trying to finish off this stock early so we can start working on that second one. Neutral light comes out from Addy, weapon toss over to the sword.
See LDZ utilizing that high movement speed that Lucian has going back and forth.
Very patient from Addy. It's going to be the recovery, unarmed on top of LDZ, but he's got to maintain this orange health lead. That has been very characteristic of Addymestic, is he has to win, or he has to get the first stock and then maintain that orange health lead.
LDZ being very careful on how he wants to initiate. Looks like he's struggling to get in and do the damage that he needs to. You see him dashing and moving away before he decides to commit. Playing very defensively, very passively right now. Tries to reach out there with that down signature. Doesn't quite hit. It's side sig. That free force, man, is really keeping him far behind right now. He's having to work against it every time.
But again, Addymestic, orange health difference, 75 roughly damage difference between the two of them, and already is swinging with that neutral light on the gauntlets.
We now have 2 very low range, very tech chase heavy weapons against one another. The side signature just flipping him out of the air. The absolute bottom of that hitbox. You see LDZ recovering very high.
That's that spirit palm from Addymestic. That gauntlet side signature sends LDZ off, but LDZ still makes it back up on the stage. Addymestic with an interesting weapon toss. Not sure if he was going for the wall and hoping it'll bounce off as LDZ gets close to it, or if it was just a slight input.
I think he got the like goofy animation on it too. That can happen if you do it like right on the perfect frame. You could literally hear a pin drop in here.
It is so incredibly
It's so tense
quiet.
right now. It's so tense right now.
LDZ is getting some decent damage onto Addymestic, but again, Addymestic hits the weapon toss.
Addy holding onto that lead. He's in orange when LDZ is fresh.
One stock away from the reset from Addymestic. LDZ hadn't lost a game until this set, and he's already lost 2 and is about to lose the third one if Addymestic can get this kill.
Nice weapon toss for the gap closer. Picks up the sword this time.
Just trying to deny LDZ from any weapon.
LDZ really, oh my gosh, you saw him moving around, not attacking, moving around, not attacking. Then all of a sudden he ran in, decided to throw out that side signature.
Addy was not expecting it. He stood completely still, really thought LDZ was just continuing that dash dancing, but ended up getting caught, and that's the power of the dash dance.
It's still that 75 damage lead. That has been Addy's calling card against LDZ.
Downlight into Dare, hits the neutral light. Off stage play.
Oh my God!
We got a reset.
That's the bracket reset. Addy,
take a sip.
He knows he's far from out of the woods.
To do a backflip. He is through the moon.
Addymestic, everybody!
You see how calm Addymestic is right now. He knows the worst is yet to come. based on past history, things like this unawaken the monster that is inside LDZ. He does look more shook than normal. We see Boomy coming on
coming
stage.
back.
It's coaching time.
Coming to comfort his boy. Keep in mind, Brawlhalla does allow mid-set
Ooh,
coaching.
Effie.
And Effie
Helping out Addy.
coming to provide support. Maybe he's
It's
not
the
providing
E
help.
versus
He's just,
NA.
and we're seeing some fan. Oh, and Foda.
Just having fun with the
All
camera.
right, all right, man. All right, man.
He's having a blast. This is the time of his life right now. Let him do what he wants. But Boomy and Effie both came up to give some just some support, some hope. They both understand, everybody understands that NA Dream and EU Dreams rest on both of these players.
Marshall said this was EU's LAN. He says that every LAN, but
That's true.
I think he believed it a little bit more this time, and it's looking like that could be the case here. Addy warming up those hands.
LDZ changing the track. Both of them thinking incredibly hard. This is it.
On the character select screen, Val is already locked in.
All right, everybody.
Lucian hovered.
By a show of applause,
Covered on
give me
Lucian
your
right
hype.
now.
Who
It's
thinks
locked in. We're seeing the stage
Addymestic
bandit
can
coming
take
through.
this?
There's Thunder, Blackguard, and we're going to Mammoth. This is the bracket reset. This
And what
entire
about
year
LDZ?
comes all down to this
The
set
entire
here.
circuit
Here we
comes down to
go.
this. LDZ, he's played in maybe a handful of tournaments and done incredibly well. On the other side, Addymestic has been to basically everything that he could and done incredibly well. These are two very big contenders in their own regions. LDZ, the last remaining regional qualifier, the US West regional qualifier. Addymestic just holding it down for all of EU.
Let's just say that Reason made a mistake dropping their Brawlhalla team because they had some big boys with some big placing this tournament.
Addymestic not quite in the lead that he wants, not quite that 75 damage, but he's already getting the sidelight onto LDZ, looking for that unarmed heavy, but LDZ far and away from it. LDZ looking a little bit better in game one of the reset.
Yeah, it's definitely more even. We aren't seeing
Neutral
that 75 to 80 damage lead. He's hitting those signatures again that he was hitting earlier. We saw him take a breather.
Ooh, clash out on both sides, both of them incredibly even. They know how much this first stock will set the pace, and LDZ gets it with the down signature.
Addy being very careful, putting a lot of space between him and LDZ, being very careful. Even when he was next to the weapon toss, you saw how close LDZ was. He was putting a lot of respect on that, on the high movement speed and the dash utilization
Cover.
that LDZ has. We see the immediate turnaround.
And Addymestic going to be going back to his original game plan, just try to deny weapons. LDZ still able to pick that one up, but he did take a nair and a dare for his troubles. Not quite the lead that Addy wants, though. Dare, nair, recovery. Gravity cancel, side sig. Addymestic waking up.
Somebody just shushed in the audience for real. Like, I'm not even mad.
I don't blame
Like,
them at all.
I wouldn't be
It's so
talking.
tense.
I wouldn't
It's-
be.
It's like a golf game. You don't want
Yeah.
to shake them.
I would not be talking right now unless that's literally my job here. Like, if I could get away with that, I just wouldn't.
Oh my goodness, both of them so close to death. Recovery's not going to do it. Neither of them wants to make the mistake. Side stick thrown out. I don't expect a stick from LDZ. 100%. I don't think he's going to do it.
I don't know. We might see one. Like, he placed that neutral stick so well. Maybe he might start relying on specifically that one. Addy's playing kind of floaty right now. We're seeing him touch the ground and then he can jump up twice. On stage ground pound. There's the side air. LDZ maintaining this lead. It's a little bit smaller than 75 to 80 damage, but he's still maintaining it. And just like you said,
He was trying to get away, man. Went all the way to the right side. Addy was just like walking up. Gets that unarmed recovery, evens it up immediately.
it's the quick turnaround. If it comes down to even one damage in the end, it's exactly like you said. It's based on who gets that first stock. That's what sets the pace.
But LDZ, he's been doing a lot better of a job with these Katars, really getting the strings, really getting those consistent hits on top of Addymestic.
Seeing the guitar string coming out. Oh my gosh, carrying from right to left.
Good dodge from Addymestic. Had he gotten hit by that recovery, I don't know if he would have survived.
Dude, Addy's in kill percent at this point. Maybe not quite for a Lucian. Definitely not for a Sayer in the middle of the stage.
Oh, trying to get in with that dash jump nair. Looking for that nair as his startup for the dare follow-up. Oh, barely avoids the down sig. Nair underneath. Addy needs more damage. The side sig just right over his head.
There's the recovery, not
Not
quite
enough.
enough force on that. That's that 3-force Lucian, man. That is really just a mountain that he has to climb at this point. He's been climbing it so far. He's been finding those kills when he needs to. Are we going to see the neutral signature? Yes, we are. That is going to be the kill. Hands
LDZ.
in the air. LDZ breathing a huge sigh of relief, interrupting the momentum of the push forward from Addymestic.
He found what he needed. His guitar is doing incredibly well. And we are going right on into game 2. It is LDZ versus Addymestic. Can Addymestic come back into it, take game 2?
And we are on Twilight Grove. You saw what Boomy was able to do with blasters, utilizing that island here. Are we going to see the same focus from LDZ, or are we just going to see a standard blasters play that doesn't rely on the island?
I almost think LDZ is going to be playing a lot more guitars. That's what really works in game 1 is the guitar play. And you can see he's already sticking with these guitars. No weapons have spawned just yet, but he's not even thinking about swapping them over. Addy, down air, not enough. LDZ does come back up, but Addy's underneath. He's got a significant damage lead over LDZ. LDZ just trying to deny the weapon, swaps on over to the blasters. Oh,
back-to-back
the finishers.
Addy's, dude, he's being so careful on how he chooses to follow up his strings. He doesn't want to get dodged and then punished.
Oh!
The high recovery, taking out Addy's stock when he was in
The
orange.
turnaround from LDZ. We saw the same thing on Boomy. Does the exact same thing, goes to the top, baits out the recovery and turnaround recovery from himself.
Are we going to see the camp over here? Addy going low. LDZ, again, being very careful. He knows that he's red at this point. He could have taken a couple dares there, and that would have ended his stock. He needs to hold the lead. D-Light into the side air, sending LDZ off screen.
Weapon toss, Addy not wanting to overcommit. He hits the side air, LDZ still hit plenty.
That's going to be the stock.
That should do it. Yep. Not able to make it back. Addymestic, though, did take a little bit of damage. There's the weapon spawn. He's going to do his best to deny. No, instead tries to bait it. Couldn't quite keep LDZ from the pickup. Again, gravity cancel downlight's working for LDZ. Downlight, Sayer
There it
into
is.
the recovery. Not going to take down Addymestic, but a huge damage difference between the two.
And the weight. Oh, Addy, I love
back
that.
off.
Addy, I love that.
The back
I love
off.
your counter play
Addy!
so
Not
much.
enough.
He gets the second one.
Not
Where's the follow-up?
enough!
Where's the follow-up?
LDZ
Turns it around.
He turned it around. Addy hit so many grab pounds. He was so close, but LDZ got the wall touch, and then he turns around, hits the Sayer, and Addymestic was so close to getting that gimp.
Honestly, I never thought hundreds of people in a room with concrete walls and floors could be this quiet. I didn't mean get loud. I just meant that it's tense. Y'all chill. I'm not throwing shade at you. It's the respect that y'all have for these competitors.
Oh, LDZ still makes it back.
Uh-oh. You see Addy waiting. Addy going left and right, choosing, okay, where do I commit? I'm going to wait until the last minute to commit so I can dial this in and hit it correctly. I don't want to overcommit at this point.
Oh, Addy.
No.
Double bump.
LDZ, though, you saw Carol, he didn't immediately rush over, putting so much respect on Addymestic. He knows after losing that first set.
About half the audience lost 10 seconds of their lives when Addy bonked his head like that.
I think I lost 14 years,
Oh my goodness.
and I'm already old.
Addy being very patient. LDZ trying to get that recovery, knows how close Addy is to death. Addy doing a really good job playing around that recovery, but he's got to be careful. He's got his back to that island. Neutral stick connects. LDZ 1 game away. He
see
is
him.
feeling
He's
it.
clenching
Same
his
thank
fist.
you to Boomy.
Effie on the way up, coming in with the run-in. And it's usually, Effie's usually the one. Like, he's usually the EU representative that comes up,
He's the
gets
EU
coaching.
coach.
I mean, I wish we had that kinship in North America. It's
We don't care about each other.
Here was just, it's because we're all selfish. We're all capitalists.
We all want to win.
If somebody else gets that money, that means
I can't give you my tech.
That means you don't get that money.
What if that was like the requirement for Boomy to come on stage? It's like, you got to give me 50% of your split. Like, I need that
LDZ
money.
and Boomy signed a contract. That mid-set coaching, man, you got to pay for that.
I charge by the minute, yo. LDZ, one game away from going home. BCX's 2017 champion, going to be the two-time Brawlhalla world champion, Addymestic.
The two-time.
Trying to stop.
Back-to-back. 2016,
Don't. I tried to stop.
2017.
I tried not
hey, you
to,
said
man.
it. You said the
I
two-time.
tried not
you
to.
gave it to me. You
I
said the
know.
two-time. That's on you.
I heard it.
That's on you,
Dr.
man.
LDZ, man. Addymestic immediately going for that game. Went for the near ground pound. Nice spot dodge into the neutralite, trying to chase after LDZ. Nair into Dare. Another Dare attempt, but LDZ avoids it.
And
Nair.
again, this is the situation that we've seen in the past with him. LDZ losing the first set and then coming back huge in the second set. We could see a 3-0. Oh, that soft platform.
Shout outs to the platform.
That soft platform, dude. He is going to go to Twilight Grove with a chainsaw and cut that branch down.
Down air from Addymestic. LDZ over to the island. Not able to punish the ground pound. Does stuff with the neutralite. And I don't mean it like, oh, he just did some stuff, but I mean like he stuffed the attack.
I mean, he did do some stuff with the neutralite. You ain't lying. That's making sure Twitch chat doesn't doesn't get on you for saying something wrong, dude.
Down airs. LDZ does get back to the wall.
That's it. That's the stock.
Yeah.
And the LDZ, the L stands for lead. Because he has the lead. And once he gets the lead, he wins the set.
I wasn't sure if that was like a word play or if that was like
it was
facts.
not. It was ambiguous. Oh no, I know what the L stands for. I can't say it though.
He ain't about to take this L though. From the looks of it, side air from Addymestic sends LDZ off.
Oh,
Not
he
able to
waited
touch.
just a little bit too long trying to get out of the way to Addymestic.
Nice recovery into a dare. Does pick up the nair, but he's not going for the immediate dare follow-up that he had done previously. Ground pound connects for LDZ. They are just trading damage back and forth. Addy has yet to get that consistent lead over LDZ that he had in the grand finals before the reset.
He hasn't found it with his sword. He hasn't really found it with his gauntlets yet either.
Oof.
I would have maybe thought that we would see the character switch here. I don't know if it would be a good idea or not. I honestly don't at this moment. I don't know what kind of read Addymestic would have on it against LDZ.
Side air. Addy is in a dangerous spot.
A true
Another
Lucian
side
player.
air.
Is he going to kill with these side airs like a true Lucian player?
Addymestic gets around him, hits a side air, goes for the unarmed side air. Gauntlets into the
weight.
sideline.
Oh, the pickup from LDZ.
Again! If he's got gauntlets, don't even try to recovery on him because he's just going to get around and hit that that blaster's recovery.
Addy is on tournament stock right now against LDZ, the weapon toss. He doesn't find the dare there that would have killed. LDZ unafraid to go in unarmed against Addymestic right now. The monster has been awoken.
Side air connects. Addy not able to hit the weapon toss, gets the unarmed side air, but he has a large amount of damage to make up.
There is about 80 to 90, maybe as much as 100 damage separating LDZ from winning all of BCX 1v1.
Nice interrupt. Keeping the momentum, but Addy not overcommitting. The side sig connects again for
His
Addymestic.
GC side sigs have been so absurd. He's placed them so well.
It's off that recovery. He does it with such fantastic reads. LDZ still with that damage lead. The downlight connects for Addymestic. Not able to follow up.
No momentum really going out. He's the side sig. He's still alive. Addy's still alive. There's the nair. He's still needing to put out this damage. Gets the neutralite, jabbing it up.
Recovery. Both of them close to death.
It's down. It's last stock red. Last stock. LDZ does it.
LDZ
he is
champion.
the back to
Boomy rushes the
back.
stage. Gonna give LDZ a hug. That's all the boys repping LDZ. They know how much it means for LDZ, the two-time Brawlhalla World Championship champion.
LDZ has to be the most relieved man in the entire world. He just exhaled about 1,600 gallons worth of air out of his lungs. The sigh of relief as he takes first place at BCX 1v1.
Addymestic, his heart has got to be broken though. So close twice in a row, so close to the finish line, but not quite able to cross. EU, the dream has died. They've been so close to finishing it too.
Now that LDZ's won, I can say I wanted Addy to win.
I did too.
I wanted Addy to win.
really
I wanted
him to
the
win.
EU Dream. They deserve it. But I understand they're disappointed, but there is no reason that they shouldn't be the most prideful region in the world, but the second most prideful region in the world right now. They came so far in 2v2. They came so far in 1v1. Dude, everybody just played so. I wish everybody could win, and I'm not even like. I legitimately wish everybody could go home with 30
so
grand
many
in their
people
pocket.
played so incredibly well. This has been an absolutely amazing event. I'm incredibly proud of all of these guys.
Everybody
Like,
did so well today.
been
Let's
playing at
go
the top of
ahead
the game.
and I'm turning my laptop on so I can read out the placements of the top three here. Obviously, first place is LDZ. Second place, Addymestic. You can read third place, or just say it.
Boomy?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you were like, you
Why
didn't
you-
want to say it. or
No,
something.
I just wanted.
You're just like,
you didn't have to say it with a question mark like
Ladies
that.
and gentlemen, your
think we're tossing it
1v1
over to
Brawlhalla
Boda.
World Champion, LDZ!
The same pose that we saw a year ago. Different jacket, different man, same pose, same placement. A whole hell of a lot more money this time, though.
the entire audience erupting with cheers of
All right, LDZ,
He's taking next steps, though.
$20,000.
He's doing the shoot at smug face right now.
Two-time world champion.
Yo, LDZ for real has
The
the cleanest kicks I've ever seen in my
two-time
life.
world
Those have to be
champion.
brand new. Look how white those kicks are. He's about to go buy some Yeezy boosts after this.
Those are
Sorry,
some incredibly clean
Yeezys
shoes,
after this,
man.
man. LDZ, as he goes to the side of the stage.